You have your food storage, your water filtration, and other emergency supplies, but can you find it? Do you know how to use it? And can you depend on it? So here's a great example of that. I went to find a battery the other day and realized that we have batteries leaking in here. So not an immediate problem, but it is an immediate problem because we have to keep things fresh. We have to keep things current. Today we're going to talk about how to do that because having stuff isn't the same as being prepared. Hey Provident Preppers, I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Kylene, and today we are going to talk about the things that we forget as preppers, essentials that we must have in order to make our other preps work. And we might be really surprised by some of these. So really think about your preps during this and go and look and make sure you have what you need. The first thing that I want to talk about is fire starters. A lot of our preps require fire to be able to work. So can we start those? How about matches, butane lighters? One of the things that I love, because eventually, you know what? I'm gonna run out of the butane and I'm gonna run out of my matches. But we have these little
piezoelectric lighters.
They're little candle lighters and they're so cool. And they just, can you see that? You just are able to light stuff with it and it works really well. But one of the things that I love about it is I can take my hybrid Mammoth light, which is my all-time favorite. I can just recharge this with the power that's in here. So theoretically, this doesn't have an expiration date. Now, yeah, the batteries always eventually run out. So we have a whole bunch of these stored in this little tote, in addition to all of the other things. Now, one of the other things about the essential fire starting tools is that I can't just have them all in one location. If I just have them tucked around in one place, they're not going to be convenient. So for us, we have a bunch of butane lighters right here in the kitchen silverware drawer, because where am I going to use that? Outside, either to start a fire or on my camp chef or my barbecue or something like that. So these have to be conveniently located. And then we have a backup for our backup, right? Stored someplace else. Same thing with the matches. They're strategically located everywhere where I might use them in addition to some regular storage.
And let's talk about some manual alternatives. So we are all very spoiled. Well, most of us are very spoiled because we can just plug things in and things work. But if we don't have power, what about a can opener or a grain grinder, kitchen tools or hand tools or, tools that we use every day? We love all of our tools, but most of them are electric. So do we have backups for that don't require electricity?
And one of the conveniently located things about this, and we got this from one of our viewers, you take a number 10 can and you know how that plastic lid, you can put one of those little, is it a military can opener? Mm-hmm. Just right there, tucked right there, and then put the lid back on the can so that whenever you go to use that can, you've got this really cute little can opener that's a little bit hard to use, but it'll get the job done right where you need it.
Speaking about electric things, what about the right extension cords or electric cords to run the things that we need? Maybe we're running it off a generator or a power station. And speaking of power stations, do we have the cords we need to connect our solar panels to the power station itself? So all these kinds of things, do we have them in place? Do we know where they are? Do we know how to use them?
All right, so we talked about some of the forgotten things that we think are really important. Now let's talk about organization. Now, if you can't find it, you don't have it, and it's just a sense of false security.
Do I know that? I'm getting better. I'm getting things organized, but there are times when I'm looking for something and I can't find it. So it's worse than not having it because I think I've got it, but I don't.
And then there's the hide the Easter egg problem that I personally have. So I will put something in a place where I think it's a really good place, and I remember that, but I don't remember where I put it, And so by increasing our organization, we can definitely take care of that problem. One of the ways we can do it is to create a master inventory. And Jonathan is fabulous with the spreadsheets, right? But where he has his spreadsheets and what's on it doesn't always come back to me.
Yeah.
And I like to put things in places where it makes a lot of sense. For instance, Our fire extinguishers, they're right there in the wall. There's no guessing where the fire extinguishers are. And we have 3 of these boxes, one in the garage, one here in the kitchen, and one downstairs. If there is any type of a fire, or we have the Jace trauma kit in there too, or some type of a serious medical emergency, we've got really quick access to whatever we need, and everybody knows it's there, and we don't have to look for it. So sometimes if we stage things, for instance, another thing that we've done is our to-go supplies, like our bug out bags, things like that, are right in our entry closet. It's a coat closet. We have everything in there that we need if we need to evacuate, including lists on the door that tell us some of the things that we might not be able to put in there that we need to make sure that we grab. One thing I don't keep in there is our binder that has all of our essential information in it. And in addition to our critical documents in there, it has keys and different things like that that might be really important for where we're going. And talking about keys, that's another thing that Jonathan and I have struggled with, because John loves to keep everything locked up. We have a he shed and a she shed. Yeah. That helps our marriage, because he can put whatever he wants in his and I put whatever I want in mine. But if those keys aren't accessible to our emergency supplies, then we have no access to them. So having those extra keys, knowing where those keys are, and we solve that by having a key box where we have our central or our extra spare keys, so that, you know, we don't have to hunt for them. We know where they are.
And I think one of the critical points here is, you know, sometimes when we need these things, it's not a crisis, but sometimes it will be. And sometimes our brains aren't working well. So she talked about lists. She talked about having things strategically put in places that make sense. There's a lot of value in that.
One of the things that Jonathan just did is he took our generator to be serviced to make sure that it was ready to go if we needed it. And he bought extra parts so that if anything breaks, he's got what he needs. And I'm like, John, where are you going to store those? Because if he's not home, and this actually goes into our next thing, but if he's not home, how do I know where those parts are? If he's got them tucked in the garage in his own organizational method. So those parts need to be stored with the generator, because it just makes sense. We have all these light sources. So like I said, we love hybrid light. We will leave a link to them. If you use our promo code, you get 20% off, which is fantastic. But we have these strategically placed all over the house, so that you're not running to one location. And most of the time we have them in the windows, like in the window in my office, in the window in the solarium, in John's office, so that if the power goes out, if the lights go out, you're not traipsing through the house trying to find them.
So let's talk about this, communication and shared knowledge. And I think actually this is probably the most important thing.
This is what we struggle with.
Communication. Well, I think everybody does to some extent, but yes, it's something that we have to work together on. We have to have this shared knowledge. We have to communicate. And sometimes in the busyness of life, it doesn't happen, but we can work on that.
One person's organization could be another person's chaos, right? We see that a lot. In fact, when I got this box out of all of the electric lighters, John said, I didn't know we had that many. And it's because I bought them because I wanted to do a comparison video that I haven't done yet. So this has been in my office waiting for this video to be done, but that doesn't do John any good because he doesn't even know that it exists. So we definitely have that communication problem, and we're working on it. But one of the things that would be really good is, like for the generator, to have a little laminated card that has very simple instructions that a child or somebody elderly could understand and follow those directions if dad's not home. I mean, we'd always love for everybody to be home in a crisis, but the fact is that's not how it works. So laminating those little cards, like the lists that we put on the back of our entry closet door that has our emergency plan and all the numbers and everything, that's really helpful when it comes to communication and making sure that everybody knows what's going on. One of the other things is that we have to teach how to do things, like teach how to turn off the water. Usually that's always John's job. So I can turn off the water that comes into the house. I can't turn off the water at the street because one, I don't know where the tools are to be able to do that. It takes some physical ability to do that too. So, there's some things like that we need to work on. But our gas shut off, I know how to do that. And we have the tool. It's actually zip tied to the gas main. Is that what it's called?
Gas meter.
The gas meter. So that in an emergency, we're not looking for that tool. So it's really important. Not only does everybody need to know how to do it, we need to know when to do it and understand it. So those are good things to communicate in advance.
Okay, and the third principle is practice makes prepared. Sometimes we get busy in life and we forget to practice, and practice is a very critical aspect of this, using things, trying things, fixing things.
And as we integrate our preps into our daily life, we make sure that things like this doesn't happen, because I asked John to go get this for the video today and he said, "Oh honey, there's a problem with it. When I went to get batteries, a lot of them had leaked." And I'm like, "You didn't tell me that." And so I'm thinking these are okay, right? But if this is where we store our batteries and this is where we go to get batteries, that's why he knew there was a problem, right? Because we've integrated this into our daily life. We store a lot of tape, and we went to get some for the greenhouse because I was painting the greenhouse walls black, right? The back ones. And in the box, I came across this. This tape is like cement.
Like a solid brick.
There's no way I could use it. This is false security just sitting there. So, I had plenty of fresh tape, but I was really surprised that when I try so hard, I had this in, and it was with the painting supplies. But it's a really good example of how when we use our stuff all the time, we know that we have stuff that's not okay. This works a lot with food storage. If you've just bought your food storage and you've tucked it away and you're not rotating through it, how do you know that your family's going to eat it? How do you know that it's going to taste good? How do you know that it's safe and okay to eat? So the more that we can integrate that into our daily lives, perhaps that means that once a week or once a month, you use alternative cooking methods to cook your food, even if it's just having a barbecue outside. I think that that's very valuable, because then do you have the fuel? Are you missing anything you need to make it all work? Does everybody know how to use it? There's so many different aspects that just by practicing all the time, you can conquer it, and you can be so much more ready. And it doesn't have to be like drama. It can be so easy and so much fun if you make it that way and integrate it.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. There are 3 critical keys. This is the quiz. Do you know what they are? I'll tell you what they are. Organization and strategic placement. That's number 1. Number 2, communication and shared knowledge. And number 3, practice, practice, practice.
So important. The more you practice, the more it's muscle memory. It's just part of your life. And if you're practicing, when you have a disaster scenario, there's so much less stress, because you got this.
Yeah.
You got this. You got this. Preparedness is a verb. It's not a noun. We need to act so that we are truly prepared. And remember that false security is dangerous. It's worse to have this than no batteries at all. Because if I think that I have good batteries just waiting for use, then I'm going to depend on that. If I know I have no batteries, I'm going to come up with another plan. So false security can be dangerous.
Yes, it can. And now for the question of the day. What is one forgotten prep that you've discovered, and what are you going to do about it? Drop them in the comments. Let's have some discussion. And thanks for being part of the solution.